I first met Joe in April of 1992 when I went to apply for work at what was then Miller Brands. Walked in the front door and he happened to be sitting in the reception area there. I went up to ask for an application and filled it out. Next thing you know, I turned it in to be completed. It didn't take me long. He kind of took it from the receptionist and starts to read it. Oh, Catholic school boy. It's almost like yesterday I can hear him saying that. And I go, yeah. Anyway, he mentions Salesian High School, and he says, hey, did you hear the latest at Salesian? I says, no, what's the latest? He says, they became co-ed. I says, what? No, you're mistaken. No, that's not true. He says, yeah, they're letting guys in now. And the receptionist just laughed hysterically, just went on for a while. And it kind of tweaked me a little bit. And I reached out to him, I said, and who are you? He says, I'm Joe Sanchez. And at that point, I realized he owned the place, all right? And that joke just took a different level from there. It just seemed like all of a sudden it was funny to me. So I laughed for quite a while after that.
My first impression of Joe was I was surprised because he certainly didn't fit the appearance that I thought he was going to. He had long hair and kind of different from what you would see from a Bosco graduate or whatever. But for him, just a big smile and a guy that really really looked like he wanted to be a part of our program.
Over the years, and I've known Joe, I told you, for 30 years. Joe used to tell me all the time, when he went to Bosco, it was a boarding school. But he used to tell the story that he got dropped off the first day of 8th grade and got picked up the last day that he graduated from high school in 12th grade. And I think he said that a little bit tongue-in-cheek. There probably was some truth to it. Joe spent a lot of the weekends at St. John Bosco. So Bosco really became his family during those really formative years of becoming a young man.
Joe had a pretty rich history with St. John Bosco. Not only recently, in the last few years, he went to high school here, obviously. He was here when it was a boarding school, and he spent 4 years here.
A lot of people don't know this, but Joe was a soccer player at St. John Bosco and played goalie. And he really learned a lot about leadership and teamwork playing goalie at St. John Bosco. And it really led to the type of organization, company that he built.
Leadership is something that I think that he had a great knack for. Not only with his business, obviously, but there were many times that I went to Joe and I solicited his advice on things that I was going to do in my program and how I was going to handle certain things. And he was able to give me, quality criticism or quality advice that I believe was really going to, set us apart, in our particular industry.
I saw Joe get involved in a lot of different things over the years, but it really wasn't until it became something local and really important to Joe that he started throwing himself personally into the projects. And I think the first project where he really got involved in was the downtown Los Angeles. They were raising money for the Plaza de Cultura, and that was something that was dear to him because he's Angelino, and felt that was important to restore that area. And then with St. John Bosco, I saw him also throw himself in because it's kind of where he started to transition from a young person into a young man, and had fond memories of his time at St. John Bosco.
I think the important thing to really understand and to know about Joe, and the reason why he did the things that he did, is because he wanted to, in today's Bosco, be able to provide the same opportunities for a lot of the kids, give them the opportunity that he himself had when he was a student here. Joe was a guy that really understood what it was like to be part of the Salesian education, and really what it was like to be a Bosco man and to graduate and go into the workforce and have a tremendous career. And Joe wants that and wanted that for our kids, and still would want that for our kids now, and support us. His financial contributions to our program allowed us so many more things than what our kids would be allowed had a guy like him not been around. And I think that's what's something that everybody really needs to understand, is how incredibly generous he was. And it wasn't necessarily for his own personal gain. It was for other kids. It was for other families. People that didn't have the opportunities that some of the kids have in our program. And he wanted to provide that for them, and he wanted them to be able to experience some of the same Salesian educational opportunities that he had back when he was a student here at law school.
I think the term pay it forward is one that a lot of people use, and sometimes it may be overused, but Joe really wanted to be able to set an example for the young men that attend Bosco. I think we can honor Joe Sanchez's legacy of friendship, leadership, and giving back to his community. And I personally am going to challenge my friends and my family and associates that I work with to help raise money every year to send one student to pay their tuition at St. John Bosco in the name of Joe Sanchez, and call it the Joe Sanchez Memorial Scholarship Fund. And I am committed to do that as long as I personally can. And friends and family, I'm challenging you to do that also.